Hi everyone, I'm Ellie. Welcome to my story corner. For the next 5 weeks, I am going to upload a video each week of me telling a story. If this is something that interests you, then please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. So, as you can see, I'm wearing my witch's hat because tonight's story is about a witch. In Slavic folklore, there's a witch called Baba Yaga, and she flies around in a cauldron, which is steered by a broomstick. So there she is, in her cauldron and her broomstick. And Baba Yaga also lives in a hut in the middle of a forest, and this is no ordinary hut. This hut stands on chicken legs, and sometimes the chicken legs even walk, taking the hut with them. Now, some people in the village next to the forest perceive Baba Yaga as a wise old crone and go to her for help, but many others fear her and believe that she is an evil, wicked witch who likes to eat children. So this story begins in this village next to the forest where Baba Yaga dwells, and in this village there lived a man, and he lived with his wife and his beautiful daughter, Vasilisa. His wife was very ill, and one night she called for Vasilisa to come to her chamber where she lay on her deathbed. She said, "Vasilisa, soon I will be here no more, but fear not, for I have a gift for you." And she leaned over, and out of her bedside cabinet she took out a rag doll. And she said to Vasilisa, "This rag doll will watch over you and make sure that no harm ever comes to you." So, a few days later, Vasilisa's mother died, and although Vasilisa was very sad, she took comfort from the doll and was safe in the knowledge that no harm will ever come to her. Soon after, the father started to feel very lonely because he had lost his wife, and he longed to meet someone else who he could love and marry. A few weeks later, he met a woman who had 2 daughters, Tanya and Natasha. Not long after, this woman and the man were married. And although the father was happy with his new wife, this new wife had no love for Vasilisa, and she preferred her 2 daughters, Tanya and Natasha. And Tanya and Natasha and their mother were all jealous of Vasilisa, because Vasilisa was fair and beautiful and pure at heart, not like them. Although, when the father was around, they pretended that they liked Vasilisa. Vasilisa was a clever girl and knew the truth, and this truth was confirmed one evening when her father left the room, and her stepmother and her 2 stepsisters, Natasha and Tanya, said to her, "You just wait till your father leaves, then we will make your life a total and utter misery." The next day, the father announced that he was going away on business for a few weeks. "Don't worry," he said, "it won't be long before I'm back, so take care of each other and take care of the house." And Vasilisa was frightened because she remembered what her stepmother and stepsisters had told her the night before. Remembering the doll, she picked up the doll and she said, "Oh, what shall I do? For tomorrow they're going to make my life a misery." "Fear not," said the doll. "Remember what your mother said. As long as you have me, no harm shall come to you." And true to their word, the next day they forced Vasilisa to dress in rags and do all of the housework while they just sat back and did nothing. As night fell and the sky started to go dark, the stepmother said to Vasilisa, "We're out of candles, so it is your job to go into the woods to Baba Yaga's hut and ask her for some candlelight." And Vasilisa was afraid, and she said to her doll, "Oh no, this is their wicked plan. They're sending me away to Baba Yaga, and I've heard terrible things about her. I heard that she eats children." "Take me with you," said the doll, "and no harm shall come to you." So Vasilisa put the doll in a bag and set off out to the forest. As night fell, she walked along the path through the forest. Owls hooted in the tree, and the moon shone on the path, lighting her way. Soon Vasilisa heard a galloping of hooves behind her, and she turned around just in time to see a white horse galloping up towards her with a rider wearing a long white cloak. As this horse overtook her and galloped on through the woods, Vasilisa continued on the path. And soon she heard the galloping of hooves behind her again. Vasilisa thought, who would be out riding at this time? And then she turned around, and this time a whoosh went past her, a whoosh of red, and she looked ahead and saw a red horse. And this horse's rider had a long red cloak, and they galloped on through the forest and into the night. Soon, shining in the moonlight, Vasilisa saw the hut that she had heard so much about. The hut was standing on chicken legs, and Vasilisa was terrified, for she had heard rumours about Baba Yaga, that she liked to eat children, and Vasilisa was terrified that as soon as she knocked on the door, she'd be whisked up and thrown straight into the oven for Baba Yaga's tea. And before she could go any further, she heard yet another galloping of hooves behind her, and this time a black horse overtook her. This black horse's rider had a long black cloak on. As Vasilisa stepped closer and closer to the house, her heart was pounding in her chest, and Vasilisa knocked very timidly on the door. The door opened with a creak, and out of the door came a long hooked nose with a wart on, and bony fingers crept round the door. As the door opened, and there, standing in the doorway, was Baba Yaga, an old, decrepit woman with white hair and wrinkled skin. "Well," said Baba Yaga, peering down at Vasilisa, "aren't you going to tell me your name, little girl? And aren't you going to state your business?" Vasilisa was so scared, she uttered, "I am Vasilisa," she said. "I have come to ask, would it be possible to get some candlelight? Could you lend me some candlelight?" And Baba Yaga said, "I think you'd better come in." And the chicken legs lowered down, allowing Vasilisa to step up and into this hut. Before her in the hut was a large oven, and she thought this must be where Baba Yaga roasts the children before she eats them. Baba Yaga said, "I shall give you your candlelight, but you must complete 3 tasks for me. I will set you your first task in the morning.
If you complete these 3 tasks, I shall give you your candlelight, and you shall be allowed to go home. However, if you fail to complete the tasks, I shall eat you for my dinner."
Vasilisa was terrified, but from the bag the doll whispered, "Have faith and courage, my dear, and no harm shall come to you." So Vasilisa lay down on a haystack which Baba Yaga provided for her and soon drifted off to sleep. The next morning, when she awoke, Baba Yaga had laid out some breakfast for Vasilisa. Vasilisa ate her breakfast, and the old crone said,
"Right, I have some business to attend to, so I shall leave you in the hut, and your first task is to clean my hut from top to bottom and prepare me some pumpkin soup for my dinner tonight. And once you have done that, you must sort out this big bucket of peas and olives into these 2 pans," she said, producing 2 pans and laying them next to this bucket. "You shall sort the olives into this pan and the peas into that pan. And remember, my child, if you fail to complete this task, I shall eat you for my dinner."
So Baba Yaga flew out the door on her cauldron and broomstick and flew over the trees and disappeared. So Vasilisa cleaned the house from top to bottom and prepared some pumpkin soup. But soon there was a knock on the window, and Vasilisa thought, "Oh no, Baba Yaga's home early, and I have not sorted those peas into the pan, nor those olives into the other pan. She is sure to eat me for her dinner." But when she came to the window, she saw through the window a figure on horseback, and this figure was wearing a long white cloak. And then she remembered yesterday. This must be the figure on horseback who overtook her. As Vasilisa turned back into the room, she saw the bucket was empty, and she saw that the 2 pans had olives in one and peas in the other, and they were already sorted. A couple of hours later, Baba Yaga flew home to her hut, and she came inside, and she noticed the place was all spick and span and neat and tidy. And so she sat down to her dinner of pumpkin soup, and she noticed that Vasilisa had also sorted the peas and the olives into 2 different pans.
"Well done, my dear," said Baba Yaga. "I shall give you your second task tomorrow morning."
So the next morning came, and Baba Yaga said to Vasilisa,
"Right, I have a bucket here. I want you to fill the bucket with water."
And Vasilisa thought, "Oh, that's an easy task."
"But," said Baba Yaga, "you must only fill it with this."
And she produced a sieve and gave it to Vasilisa.
"And do not try and cheat me," said Baba Yaga. "I know everything. So, when I come back tonight, I want to see this bucket filled with water. And if you try and fill it with anything else but that sieve I gave you, I shall eat you for my dinner."
And Baba Yaga once again left in her cauldron with her broomstick and flew away. Vasilisa was so scared. She thought, "How am I going to fill up this bucket of water with this sieve?" And then there was a tapping at the window again. Vasilisa went to the window. There was a figure with a red cloak atop a red horse, just like the one she had seen yesterday. He reached in and he took the sieve and rode away with it. And now that man has rode away with my sieve. What am I going to do? I shall never fill up the bucket, and Baba Yaga is sure to eat me for her dinner when she comes back tonight. Have faith, said the doll from the corner. Remember what your mother said. As long as I'm around, you will be fine. And seconds later, the horseman returned with a sieve full of water. Vasilisa poured this water into the bucket, and later that evening, when Baba Yaga returned and she landed with her cauldron and came back into the hut on the chicken legs, she said,
"Oh, you're such a clever girl. In fact, you're so clever, I shall give you your third task tonight. If you can complete this task tonight, then tomorrow I shall let you go. And your third task is to count all of the stars in the sky tonight. And if you give me the wrong answer, if you are even one number more or one number less, I shall eat you for my dinner tomorrow."
And so, as night fell and Baba Yaga slept, Vasilisa looked out of the window. She clutched her doll and she said, "What shall I do? There's too many stars in the sky tonight. I won't be able to count them all." And as she said that, the chicken legs started to move, moving the hut with them. Vasilisa said, "Oh, now I won't be able to count them because the hut is moving. I'm sure to miss a star." "Do not worry," said the doll. "No harm shall come to you." So Vasilisa looked out the window, started counting the stars. And then soon she heard the sound of hooves galloping next to the hut as it moved. As she looked down, peered out the window, she could see a figure wearing a long black cloak, riding a black horse. The figure gestured for her to open the window. So Vasilisa opened the window and the figure beckoned her forth. Vasilisa leaned out the window and the horseman whispered the number of stars in the sky that night. The next morning, Vasilisa told Baba Yaga the number of stars in the sky. And Baba Yaga went into a big wild rage. She threw pots and pans all over the hut.
"Oh, now I cannot eat you for my dinner, for you have completed all your tasks. How were you able to complete these tasks, my girl? Have you been listening to morning, day and night?"
And Vasilisa didn't know what she meant. What or who was morning, day and night? And then she remembered. The figure with the white cloak riding on the white horse. And the next day, the figure with the red cloak riding on the red horse. And from last night, the figure with the black cloak riding on a black horse. That must be morning, day and night, thought Vasilisa. And she said to Baba Yaga, "Yes, I have been listening to morning, day and night."
"Well, child," said Baba Yaga, "that means that your soul is aligned with the universe and you are truly pure of heart. And it is only children who are not pure of heart that I eat. So you are free to go, and as promised, I shall give you your candlelight."
So she provided Vasilisa with a skull. This skull had light, and this skull lit her way all the way home. when she came home, her stepsisters and her stepmother waited for her.
"What took you so long?" they said. "Did you even get the candlelight?"
"Oh, yes, I did," said Vasilisa, lifting up the skull. And the stepsisters and her stepmother were so frightened they turned to stone. So they could no longer harm Vasilisa. Vasilisa took these stone statues deep into the forest and left them there. So they were far away, and Vasilisa spent the rest of the days looking after herself, cooking her own meals, and making sure the place was tidy for when her father came home. Her father returned the next day, and he was so pleased to see the house so tidy and spick and span. And he said to Vasilisa, "Where is your stepmother and your stepsisters?" "Oh, they ran away," said Vasilisa. "Oh well," thought the man, "it's nice just having the two of us, isn't it?" And that night her father tucked her into bed with her doll, and Vasilisa lay down and went to sleep, safe in the knowledge that with her doll no harm would ever come to her, for her doll had kept her promise and had seen her through some pretty dark times. So that was my story. I hope you enjoy it, and till next time, goodbye and good night.